and I was thinking about what sort of value I can provide to your audience. And, you know, the one thing that if you're watching this right now and you're like, what can I get out of this podcast, that I can provide is that I am masterful at curating content and understanding what it takes to make content that's powerful and successful. I've been doing it pretty much for my entire professional career, and I've created for everyone from Mercedes-Benz to Nike to small coffee shops to my own personal channels. Currently, I'm involved with the creation of 3 successful YouTube channels. So my current channel that I'm most passionate about, this project called Rave Train. It's essentially Soul Train with dance music. You know, so it's pretty straightforward, right. But we cover the festival community, you know, so everything from Burning Man to Lightning in a Bottle to Symbiosis to EDC to Tomorrow World. And yeah, so you guys can go check out Rave Train if you want. The show itself, it's an actual standalone show where we feature a DJ and then we have dancers dance in a circle. So that's kind of like my thing. It's like YouTube influencer, because I have my own YouTube channel and I've been able to grow it from scratch, and now it's got a pretty strong following. But then my background is in production and making, curated branded content. Right. And that's sort of like where we were connecting a little bit, because, you know, your network that you've created is so powerful at this point. You know, like, why are you not linking up with these guys to throw you like a little bit of cheddar and a couple of shirts? And granted, we're sort of at that level too right now. Like, we're not sponsored by like Adidas or anything like that. But that, and maybe, you know, I think in our community, we may not necessarily want like an Adidas as a sponsor. Sure. But what we want to do is align with these brands that we can rise with. So if you're watching this, you know, and you're, you know, maybe you're not into being an influencer, you know, maybe you're just like, you know, whatever it is, like Joe Bob, and you're like, hey, you know what, I don't necessarily want to have my face out there. But the question is, like, what is your passion? You know what I mean? Like, let's say you're Joe Bob and your passion is, you know, let's say you're a dentist, you know, like, do you want your own practice? If you have your own practice, you know, are you on social, you know, where's your socials, you know, because nowadays your socials are essentially your business card and your calling.
Bingo.
You know, and even if your content is just small things like photographs, that's still content needs to be curated, and still content that needs intention and focus. You know, we saw some Purium family on here. You know, like, if you're selling Purium, like, you know, are you doing your live streams and stuff like that? You know, and again, you may not have to have that desire to be a face, but if you're conscious about your branding and you're conscious about everything that you put out there is essentially content. You know what I mean? If you have an Instagram or a Facebook and you're uploading pictures, like, that's content, you know, right. And you may not want to get into it as intensely as we are, but perhaps by watching this podcast, you know, you can get a little bit of knowledge out of what it would take to potentially start steering, you know, that information in your direction. Because at the end of the day, like, anything that we're creating, we're getting that download from something. You know what I mean? That's not right. That may not be us as vessels on this planet in our own bodies, but we're getting that calling from something. It's like, cool, I want to post this picture. Well, totally. Why? You know what I mean?
And you're speaking to like a really big conversation here, man. And I love this.